BG for real, gang.
Make that shit bang.
You gon' ride.
Yeah! Okay. 1 5 10. 1 5 10. By the camera still going. Okay? I'ma stay up. Ready? Let's go. What's going on, Eagles fans? This your man War Eagle, and I'm back with another episode of Eagle Vision. Now let's get into it. Now I want to thank everybody, man. I've been seeing you guys out there subbing me up, and I appreciate it. I've been seeing the comments that you guys are leaving, talking about the content that I'm creating, and I really appreciate that, man. The pandemic is over, and that means I gotta get back to work. And I'm gonna just be 100% honest with you, man. The job's been kicking my ass, man. So for the past couple of days, I have not been able to post any videos, but I have been watching and I have been frothing at the mouth to be able to get back out here and talk about some more Eagles football. Now, we know that there have been OTAs, and we know that we've had a great turnout at OTAs ahead of this new season with this new coaching staff, okay? And that's been a great, wonderful thing to have as a brand new team trying to come together. And we know last year with the pandemic and everything, we didn't really have that time, okay? So one of the players who didn't have that time to come in and who was a rookie last year was JALEN REAGOR. And we know that we've gotten a chance to talk to a lot of players this year, and a lot of players have been excited about what's coming up to come in this upcoming season. And a lot of the players have been really excited about the new coaching staff that's been put in place here and what they're going to be able to do with the players and how they're energizing and bringing juice to the facility and juice to the team, okay? Now, again, one of those players that we talked about is JALEN REAGOR, and we're going to look at just how JALEN REAGOR is feeling about coming into this new season.
Coaching and a player, but I mean, like I said, we got a whole season. We have a whole camp to go through, so I feel like it's only going to get stronger, but you know, I just love how they do everything with intent, and they tell you why you're doing it. They don't just tell you, you know, do this. They tell you why you're doing it, and I mean, like I said, it's appreciated on my end for sure. But you know, the only thing that's pretty much different this year is just me being in the slot, and honestly, I feel like it's gonna make the whole team better. And then just not necessarily me being in the slot, but every receiver being interchangeable, so it makes us dangerous on all parts. It really don't matter where I am, G War, Smitty, you know, JJ, Quez, Trav, just everybody being able to play every position on the field. So, you know, it's hard to key in on.
We all know the story. We all know the story. But let's recap. The Eagles were sitting there picking at 21, okay? Now, we wanted the Eagles to move up to possibly get CD Lamb, okay? A player who had fallen in the draft, who was there for us, and we had the ammunition to move up, to get a particular skill set and a player like a CD Lamb. But what did we do? We let him go to the stinking Dallas Cowboys, okay? And now we got to deal with that monster for 2 times a year, okay? Now, what happened? Sitting there, sitting right there, right in our grasp, was Justin Jefferson, the smooth criminal himself, sitting right there in our reach. We didn't have to do anything to get him. Can you imagine what would have happened if we had Justin Jefferson last year and wound up still somehow being able to get Devontae Smith this year? You know, we picked number 6, and maybe we could have been number 5. But even at 6, maybe we could have had Justin Jefferson and we could have had Jamar Chase. Imagine what that could have looked like for us, Eagles fans, because I think we might have moved up to get that player and to pair those 2 wide receivers back together and bring LSU up north to Philadelphia, right? But that didn't work out. And what did the Eagles do? They selected JALEN REAGOR. And the reason why they selected both Doug and Howie, the reason why they selected JALEN REAGOR over Justin Jefferson was speed. They wanted speed. They wanted to get faster. So they forwent the pick with Justin Jefferson for JALEN REAGOR. Now, I wasn't the biggest JALEN REAGOR fan, and I'm not even going to lie to you. Let's just be honest. I was not checking for JALEN REAGOR last year, okay? And like most of you guys, after the Eagles made the pick, I went on to YouTube, okay? I put in JALEN REAGOR highlights. I watched his highlights, and you know what? Because I'm a homer, because I got Eagle Vision, right? I started thinking, yo, I like this guy. Yo, this player is this. Yo, this player can do that. Okay, but now we all know the best ability is availability. Okay, and unfortunately for us, injuries was a big part of our demise last year. Okay, and we could just talk about the wide receiver position in itself. Okay, let's talk about injuries to Jalen Reagor. Okay, let's talk about injuries to Deshaun Jackson. Okay, let's talk about the injuries to Alshon Jeffrey, which was a walking injury, which he could have not been on the team last year, but I'm happy he's not on the team this year. Okay, so long, Alshon. Okay, all right. So we know that we were hampered at the wide receiver spot, okay, which is how guys like Travis Fulgham got to get on the playing field and show some things for himself, which is why guys like John Hightower got to get out there, which is why my man Quez Watkins was able to get out there and show a little something, and really, which is why Greg Ward, again, okay, has been able to stay on this team. And not only has he been able to stay on this team, he's been able to be productive for a player of his particular caliber. Okay, however, I think that this is the season that we don't have a guy like Jalen Ward on this team. Okay, and there's no disrespect to those guys who are out there who are overachievers. Okay, because I myself would like to look at myself as an overachiever. I would like to overachieve what they said or people think that I can do. Okay, and I get that. All right, but we want Super Bowl caliber players because we want a Super Bowl caliber team, okay? And the way you get strong is to be as strong as your weakest link, okay? Now, with that being said, JJ Arcega-Whiteside, he's got to go, okay? Cannot be on this team this year, okay? Greg Ward, he's got to go. We got way too young at the wide receiver spot, okay? We've been clamoring for young wide receiver talent for quite some time.
We can sit here and say we're young and we don't have enough veterans, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's why they brought us here. So obviously they feel like we have those qualities. So like I said, we can't make excuses. We just have to make it happen.
Guys, I want you to understand, okay? You may think that this wide receiving core is unproven. And to that, yes, it is, okay? However, this wide receiving core is talented and has speed. Quez Watkins, speed. John Hightower, speed. Devontae Smith, speed. Don't know his 40 time, but we know people can't catch him. We know he's running away from everybody, okay? And Jalen Reagor, he was drafted for speed, okay? That's 4 guys we're talking about that can be dominant as far as in terms of speed, in terms of getting downfield, or in terms of just getting their hands, just getting the ball in their hands. We saw what Quez Watkins did one time just on a quick out to him and him being able to get up the field, okay, and turn it into a long, exciting, explosive touchdown, okay? That's what we want. We want to get the ball in our playmaker's hand. We want to use this athletic line that we still have that has a nice mix of some veterans and, you know, some younger players that's coming up, but still an athletic enough line to be able to get out there, get those elephants on parade, and make some things happen down the field. So let's talk about where Jalen Reagor fits and how key he could be to this offense, okay? Now, we know that we're going to get a lot of attention to Devontae Smith, okay? And they may make him prove it for a little while at first, okay? And we know that the Eagles are going to do everything they can to get the ball into his hands, okay? Now, we're all expecting to have a big year from Miles Sanders, okay? With a healthy offensive line, I'm really looking for Miles Sanders to be able to do some things and really push towards getting 12 to 1,500 yards this year. And if that's the case, I expect linebackers to play up. I expect one safety in the box, or for both the safeties just to play up a little bit, okay? And with that being the case, I expect to be able to get guys like Jalen Reagor, okay, one-on-one opportunities. Now, they talked about being able to be in the slot, and they talked about being able to be on the outsides.
It really don't matter where I am, G Ward, Smitty, you know, JJ, Quez, Trav, just everybody being able to play every position on the field. So, you know, it's hard to key in on,
Now, for what I will say about Jalen Reagor is the guy is an absolute dynamo when the ball in his hands, okay? And with his body size, he's like a running back with the ball in his hands. And he's shown us that he is versatile. He's shown us that he can line up at the Z, okay, or the X. And he's also shown us that he can line up in the wide spot, okay? And with the coaching staff this year being able to rotate those guys out and make those wide receivers truly interchangeable. I mean, we hear about wide receivers being able to play any position, okay? However, that has not always been the case here in Philadelphia, okay? And what we would love is we would love for defenses not to be able to key on where Devontae Smith is, where Jalen Reagor is, where Hightower is, where Fulgham is, where whoever the other wide receiver who is going to be out there, where they lining up and how we're going to defend them and what plays they may be running based off of where these players are lined up, okay? And that just makes us stale. And I think that that's something that happened with our offense last year, okay? No disrespect to my man Dougie P, because Dougie P, you always gonna be all right with me so long as you got us that Super Bowl. So I try not to be disrespectful, but your offense did get a little stale and very, very predictable, okay? So what I like about Jalen Reagor is that he gives us plenty of opportunity, okay? He gives us plenty of flexibility, okay, as far as him lining up on either wide receiver spot and also him being good out of the backfield, okay? We saw some plays last year where Jalen Reagor was lined up in the backfield and was able to get some explosive plays and be able to get us to some first downs and be able to move the chains for us, okay? And what we want to do is we want to be multiple. We want to be multiple on offense. We want to be multiple on defense. We don't want to be plain and mundane and predictable, okay? We want to compete this year, and we want a competitive edge. And I think this coaching staff, with these amount of players, with these kind of players that we have, can do just that. But you know what we need? Now you know what we need. What we need from Jalen Reagor this year is production, okay? Let's take a look at his numbers from last year and we see what happens. I think Jalen Reagor played 11 games last year, okay? Just had shy of 400 yards and just over 30 receptions, okay? In 11 games, okay? We can look at other numbers that are out there, okay? We can look at some players on this team, all right? Zach Ertz, for crying out loud, had almost just as much yards as Jalen Reagor did, and he was pretty much ineffective and was out with injuries last year as well, okay? Let's look at Greg Ward, okay? And that's a part of the reason why we need to have Jalen Reagor in the slot, or we need to have Greg Ward maybe just not a part of this roster. I know we got some Greg Ward fans out there, and it's all good, man. You know what I'm saying? Because Greg Ward's my guy for the last 3-4 years. You know, he's made some plays, some memorable plays for us, okay? However, I do not see a spot for him on this particular roster. Just look at the numbers, okay? This man was available for all 16 games, okay? And in all 16 games, him and Jalen Reagor have about the same amount of numbers. Okay, all right, same amount of numbers here. Okay, now imagine if we can get Reagor opportunities to be on the field in a multiple offense and to be healthy all 17 games, okay, and be able to get the ball in his hands in multiple ways and allow him to use his explosiveness, okay? So I'm really looking for Jalen Reagor to be able to take some of those opportunities in the slot and even some of those opportunities outside as we mix and match our wide receivers and we confuse the defense as far as what's coming. Now, we know every player is not created equal, okay? And we know that Jalen Reagor was a rookie last year, okay? Now, most rookies, what do they say about NFL players? Not even only NFL, NBA, no matter what kind of sport that you play, okay? The biggest jump, the biggest improvement comes between year 1 and year 2.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same thing how you go, every level. I feel like when I was a freshman in college, my sophomore year, that's when I blew the top off of things. So you grow. It's with everything. That's just like how you go from a job. You go from being a person taking the calls to being a supervisor to now so it's levels to it. And I feel like, I'm going to make a big jump this year. And like I said, just being very intentional with everything I do. Being intentional. And it's my second year, It's not like, oh, this is my 4th year, but it's my second year. So I kind of know how things go. And I really put a lot of things in my toolbox. And like I said, just the main thing is being intentional. It's just like being a freshman in high school and then, your sophomore year, you like, okay, I know how everything goes, You kind of get a feel of everything as far as your routine, the way you do things, the time you wake up, the time you get to the facility. I mean, you kind of, we've been here. So, not necessarily like 5 years or, but that second year, you're more comfortable. Pretty much everybody knows you and you know what to do. So I feel like things are, a little bit more at ease. But like I said, everybody just doing things with, more intent. And, we have one common goal in mind, and that's to win.
I think personally, it comes with just comfortability, okay? When I'm in a new job, you know what I'm saying? I get there. It's not that there's another person who's at that job that's better than me, okay? That's faster than me, that's smarter than me, that's quicker than me, or whatever those things are. It's just that person already is in the system, already is in the know, already is comfortable, already knows what's happening. They don't have to think, second guess, triple guess. They don't have to do any of that. When I'm getting there, I might just be trying not to make a mistake. I might not just be trying to show off. I might not be trying to do too much too soon, okay? You never know what the situation may be, but it doesn't mean that this other employee is any better than I am, okay? And so I'm hoping for JALEN REAGOR. That's what that means when we look at his draft class in comparison to what he did with everyone else that's out there, okay? Because in comparison, we can look at guys like Claypool, we can look at guys like Justin Jefferson, okay? We can look at guys like CeeDee Lamb, and the list goes on, who are out there, who are able to be productive for their teams, okay? And so when comparing him to those guys, okay, we're gonna look to see what kind of a jump he takes coming into this next season, okay? Now, we brought in another wide receiver in here to be the #1 wide receiver, and that's okay, because JALEN REAGOR wasn't the #1 wide receiver last year. But what we do need for him to do, okay, why can't we have 2,000-yard receivers? I want to say I'm not expecting for JALEN REAGOR to have 1,000 yards, okay? But what I would like to see is a little more than double his production from last year, okay? So if we had 31 catches for 300 and some odd yards, okay, I'd like to see 62 catches, okay, for maybe 830 yards. Okay, and maybe Devontae Smith can get 1,300 yards or something like that. Okay, I want to see our guys, and maybe our third wide receiver can have 300 or 400 yards or something like that. Okay, with Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz, if he's still here, filling in a couple other yards in the passing game. Okay, even get Miles Sanders active in the passing game. Okay, I want Jalen Hurts to get the ball out of his hands. I want him to be a threat running and throwing with the ball every down. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. So we really need JALEN REAGOR to take that second step, to take that next step, and I think he can. All right, you guys, let me know if you think so too. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you guys are expecting the big season from JALEN REAGOR, a big jump up in year 2. Okay, let me know who else you guys are expecting to see something big from, or to see an improvement from their performance last year, and as opposed to what they're going to be like this year, man. Let me know what you're thinking. I'm expecting big things from JALEN REAGOR and his whole entire wide receiving core this year. I think they're going to be one of the better wide receiving corps in the league. Okay, coupled with the coaching staff and what they were able to do in Indy and how he likes to do things here. And I think you're going to see a big year from Jalen Hurts, man. He's a leader. He's a great quarterback. He's been a winner everywhere he's been. And I don't see why, with a full year under his belt, with a full off season, with time to work with his receivers, why they can't get it done, man. But again, I'm out of here. I'm your guy, War Eagle, and this has been another episode of Eagle Vision. Please make sure you leave a comment, make sure you like, make sure you share the video. Okay, I'm trying to get this thing out of here, man, and get this thing on the rise and be more dedicated to my channel and more dedicated to you guys. I'm your boy, War Eagle, and I'm out. Till the next time, y'all be safe and fly, Eagles fly.